Yo, what's up, guys? Terrell here. Just kind of doing a first impressions. I bought Sonic 4 Episode 2, I believe yesterday. I think yesterday as soon as I got home and I beat the game all last night. And I figured I'd do some first impressions, mainly because I've been seeing some things. A lot of things I disagree with. I don't know if it's just me, but me personally, I think the game's getting a lot of bashing for like the dumbest I'm not gonna say they're dumb reasonings. I just don't agree with it. Okay. First off, just to kind of clarify, in terms of first impressions, I think the game is better than Episode 1, like, immensely. I know a lot of people don't like the level design, and I can see the issues. I think the biggest thing in the level design I'm not a huge fan of is that there's a shit ton of abundance of springs. I don't really feel like the speed boosters piss me off really at all, but there is a shit ton of springs. And that is fucking aggravating. In terms of the Tails partner system mechanic, it's not even... From what I heard, is most people like it, but they think it's overused. Like, it's over-dedicated. Which, kind of, but it's not really... I think the biggest problem with it is that it takes away some of the challenge. And that it should never be used for vertical sections. And I'm glad the game doesn't have that many vertical sections that you need to use it in. Because almost like, but they've nerfed Tails to the point where it's fair. Like, he can't just fly infinitely, or he can't fly as long as he can in the classic series. Because if he was able to fly that long, he would break this game for the most part. Because like, he takes away some of the challenge, but not enough where he's a hindrance. Like, I still find his tag action fun. He does make one of the fights really fucking easy, though. He makes some of the fights kind of easy. Right? For example, there's a part in the game where they redo like the Sonic CD race to the finish line with Metal Sonic. If you use his tag action, you know, the furry 69 spin, you can rape Metal Sonic in that fucking race. It's actually a challenge if you're just playing with Sonic, but if you do the fucking tag action, you can legitimately rape his ass that entire fucking race. He also makes certain bosses easier, like the final boss, for example. It's a pain to just hit him with Sonic, but because that whole logic that Tails' Tails can still hurt the bosses, he's helpful there. He doesn't break bosses though, like and honestly, just to mention that, I think the bosses are like one of the best things about the game because you had the first episode that was literally remakes of every fucking boss. Like, literally almost every boss we got in the remake in the first episode was like a remake of the same damn bosses we had. The fucking... In episode 2, I died like 4 times to the first boss in the game. Because I was so thrown off at how hard he was. The first boss is like a fucking plant monster that has like these robotic vine/snake things attacking you and shit. Which honestly isn't even the hardest thing about the boss. The hardest thing about the boss is realizing that you can't hit him from the bottom. I think the bosses are like one of the best things in the game. And a lot of people are pissed off that Eggman's boss music is just a repeated theme. Which I would agree with, but you barely hear it. You don't hear it that much in the game anyway. You hear it twice. Eggman has like 2 actual boss... Well, he has 3 boss battles. Because the game switches from like Eggman to Metal Sonic to Eggman to Metal Sonic. You only hear the boss music twice. And that's the first boss and the third boss. And then like the second and fourth boss are Metal Sonic bosses, which are both hard as fuck, and they have their own original tracks. Hell, even Eggman's final boss music is an original track. So it's like, I don't really have a problem with them remixing that. I mean, as I said, it is a really, really, really generic pinch mode music, but at the same time, you don't hear it as much, so I don't really have a problem with it. The physics are improved. I don't really want to comment too much on the physics because I had to rebuy episode 1 on the PSN to get the episode Metal stuff. So I was already used to Sonic 4 physics, so going from Sonic 4 physics to like this, since it's much better than episode 1's, I didn't really nothing but... I think the only thing that still bothers me about the physics is how weak the spin dash is. which is, it feels weirder than episode 1 spin dash, honestly. Maybe that's just me, but it feels weirder than episode 1 spin dashes. Episode 1 spin dash, and the rolling attack still feels really wonky. Those are like the two things that really irk me. Other than that, I didn't have any other problem with this physics. Like, those are the only two things that bug me. The spin dash, for some reason, feels considerably weaker, and the fucking rolling attack is damn near useless. I mean, it works better than it did in episode 1, but I'm still not a huge fan of it because I keep trying to roll down slopes, and it still feels slow as shit. The music, I don't understand. There's been like weird complaints with the music. A lot of people like the variety in the music, but a lot of people still think that the music isn't as... I don't understand that claim that people think that the first episode's music was better than the second episode's. Like that doesn't make sense because I think 2 zones. I think the tracks in episode 2 are superior to episode 1 tracks. My episode 1, my favorite tracks were probably Casino Night Music and Mad Gear Zone. In episode 2, it's like Sky, Fortress, and Winter Park are like my 2 favorites. In a sense, you could say they're equal, but I think the variety is a lot better in episode 2 than it was in episode 1. Like, Splash Hill is kind of, it's not bad, but it's just, I'm very with it. I think the music's better. I think the bosses are superior as hell. The final boss was a bitch. But as I said, the tag hatching does kind of fuck over bosses. It doesn't. The only boss that completely rapes is fucking Metal Sonic, and it's not even in like an official boss battle. It's like the race thing isn't a boss battle. The race thing is like a mini boss. Like the Death 8 Mark II boss. It's like one act and then like the final boss, and then the final boss. No. It's one act, and in the act you have 2 mini bosses in that act. The first mini boss is you have Eggman fucking blocking you while Metal Sonic is attacking you. Which isn't too hard, honestly. But then you have the race at the end of that act, which was actually pretty... as I said, was the only thing that you could rape. Like, that's the only boss I can specifically see you raping with the tag action. Not saying you can't rape it with Tails. Like, Tails makes the bosses easier to an extent, but like certain bosses, it just doesn't work. I think the only thing, it makes it a lot more convenient for you to be able to get hits, not actually getting the hits. Like, for example, the first boss, you have to, like... I don't know what they want you to do. I'm thinking they wanted you to use Tails to fly up and then, like, hit him. But that's the other thing. When you let go of Tails to, like, homing attack, you only get, like, a split second to do it, and that really will fuck you up. Like, the game, to me, is harder than the first episode. For example, the fucking bottomless pits in this game are a lot more prevalent. And there's one in Oil, I think Oil Desert Zone is a bitch. The fucking one where you have to know when to use like the few flights you can do with Tails, like because you'll grab onto him and you'll just hold him and fly down, but you have to keep. You can only tap the X button like a number of times on the PlayStation 3 version before he stops. Before he falls. You have to like time that at a certain point. And I think you know what I'm talking about, but it's like, how do I explain it? You have to like ride the air currents and know when to fly up, or else you will fall to your death. And that was a bitch. Like, that one was aggravating. Actually, the fucking Metal Sonic boss was aggravating because it was not the first one, but the second one. Not the one on the carnival, not the one on the fucking railroad tracks. Ferris wheel tracks, but it was on the but the one where he's in the ship and he's shooting at you. That one was a bitch. Purely because it took me a minute to realize what the fuck I had to do. And it's not necessarily hard. Also because you can spin the shit out of the homing attack and jump attack. But it is with the physics. And I like how one of the bosses is an airplane boss. So I thought that was cool. The level design, I didn't have too many issues with. I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of the level design. I think the only thing about the level design I'm not a huge fan of is on fucking springs. I feel like the springs were really overused in this game, if nothing else. The speed boosters, not so much, but the fucking springs. Holy shit, the springs. I mean, that's just my opinion. Also, the Death A Mark II is really disorienting because it constantly keeps turning in this 360 shit. The special stages I have fun in. I haven't gotten all the Chaos Emeralds. I have 4. I need to go get the other 3. And then I gotta go get the Red Rings, which I guess I should bring up. Apparently, from what I heard, the Red Rings do nothing, which is really... I hope that's not the case. I haven't beaten the PSN version, so I don't know what if the PSN version is like that. I probably would say... I mean, just my opinion, I just think that'd be bullshit if the Red Rings didn't unlock anything. I was hoping at the very least it would unlock maybe like a Super Tails, or maybe even give us like a preview of Knuckles or Amy, you know, just something. So I hope that maybe that is not just an achievement. But as of right now, if you wanted to like hear my pre-verdict for the game, I'm probably going to officially review it after I fuck around with it a little bit more. My, I guess first impression score right now would be like an 8. 8 out of 10 right now. Because I think it's better. I think episode 1 was like average. I think this is better than episode 1. It's not like insanely better than episode 1, but it's noticeably better. Like it's obviously better than episode 1. So I would probably say, oh, in episode metal really isn't too much. The lock-on technology bullshit. All episode metal is a really, really simplified plot line to explain how Metal Sonic was even in this game. And then you play 4 acts. And all it is like the first is all 4 acts from the first game. It's like you start off from Mad Gear to Lost Labyrinth to Casino Night to Splash Hill. And the reason why he has Tails' ship is because when Sonic used Tails' rocket at the end of episode 1, after he and Tails left, he took that rocket. That's all it is. It's not even plot-wise. It's not even that interesting. The acts are different. Really, the level design is almost exactly the same. The only difference is it's a lot more dangerous, and it still wasn't even that dangerous because I ended up getting like over 100 rings in almost every stage except for the Mad Gear stage. Like almost every stage I got over 100 rings. And I seen that got hit a lot in Splash Hill, which made no fucking sense to me. But, I don't know. So first impressions, I think it's a good game. It's a lot better than episode 1. Don't let anyone tell you different. It's better than episode 1 in my opinion. I believe it to be better than episode 1. It's solid. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I mean, it has its problems, but nothing that glaring. Like I think the only biggest issue I kept hearing is that people don't find the Tails mechanic fun, which I thought was retarded. Why do you not like the Tails mechanic? What's wrong with the Tails mechanic? I think that's I never thought the Tails mechanic was a hindrance ever. Like it didn't aggravate me. It's like, oh god, I gotta use Tails to fly up here. Oh god, because Tails half the time is used the same way he would have been used in the previous games. You use him to get the areas that you can't get to by yourself. But other than that, you barely use Tails. He's actually pretty helpful. Like I haven't played as Tails by himself yet. Well, at least with him in the lead yet, because I had to get a second controller. But I didn't have a problem with it. That's just me though. But whatever. So tell me your thoughts on the game. I actually am about to play it again. I want to get all those Chaos Emeralds and get the Red Rings just to see if there's anything different. I enjoyed the bosses are like my favorite thing about this game. I like the level design. I think there's just an overabundance of springs that really kind of got on my nerves. The music is good. The physics aren't even that aggravating. I didn't even notice them, honestly. I think the only thing that's still prevalent is that you will be air dashing a lot to pick up speed. But, it's not that bad for me personally. I didn't have any issue with it. I thought it was a fun game. So, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. If you played the game, if you're going to play the game, and your general thoughts. And this has been the vlogs again from your boy Terrell. Sorry if I seem kind of out of it. Maybe it's because I haven't recorded a video in a while, but I do kind of feel out of it. So, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.